You can, you should, if you got regular cable.
No, Comcast does it.
That's not, that's, oh, it did,
Oh, good.
Channel 22 we can't get because of
I get recent mail. Oh yeah? Was it a nice one? Did I have a bag over my head? Was that the Riddler?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, see, I got 2 of them, and Nico, I don't told me what
I
part
do.
you were.
It is. Just the I am one bad dude.
Hi, guys.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there was one inside. My bad.
You need a pen? You guys need a pen?
Becky needs to put that. You get my good side, what's right? It should be sitting in the.
No, you should be sitting where you are.
I'll keep sitting back so you can see Brian get him on TV.
Oh, I'm not looking yet.
What's that?
No, I'm good.
Oh, no,
Do
no,
we
no, I
need
was
to?
just gonna say we're gonna
Oh, do we
have
need
to.
to? Yes, because
Okay.
Mass Red's not here, yes.
Slow down my
Yes,
I
you
got a
do.
Band-Aid on my finger, so we can't tape me because that's a HEPA violation.
Oh, HEPA, yeah.
Yeah?
Can't help it yourself, happy yourself.
Yeah, injured, yes.
Mm-hmm.
The shoe was injured.
Oh, shit.
Ooh, you got the minis, there we go.
Yeah, you want some?
No,
No,
no, I'm good.
You might.
It's just the M&Ms, I don't want the M&Ms, I don't do that.
Kathy,
Yo,
that's both funny and presumptuous.
what did I do?
Adjourn at
8:09?
8:09.
I should have put it 8:01. Thank you for catching that.
That's very
Okay.
funny.
Outstanding, thanks.
Adjourn.
Bitch.
What's in my finger?
Oklahoma.
You do?
Right on the first, right on the, next to the,
You're gonna freeze.
no, it's gonna be nice.
Is it?
They finish it tonight, you want to, get it out of the way.
If they finish it tonight, what happens to those tickets?
What's that?
If they finish tonight, what happens to those tickets?
Somebody gave it to me.
So,
$1,000 for 2 tickets.
I believe it.
What, to watch a ball game?
It used to be when I had Patriot season tickets. We
They gave me free tickets, I wouldn't
And
go.
we didn't make the
They gave me
playoffs. They
transportation
kept the
and
money,
free
if
tickets, I
it was
wouldn't go.
next year,
They gave me
I'll take
tickets,
it back.
free,
Really?
free transportation and a meal,
Yeah,
I still wouldn't go.
You can migrate
How about
for the
parking?
next 6 months.
I used to work down there for IBM and I used to, like Fenway, you couldn't buy a parking space within 3 miles of there. And I had an account right down in the same block. So I had to go clear to Brighton, park the car, and then take a subway down there. And if I need a part, I can get on the subway, go back in my car, get the parts.
Great.
They asked for that, you posted.
I did post it, but I haven't written it down.
It's behind Steve in the drawer.
Guys like to tap.
Is it?
This is close enough to 7.
Make a motion, we burn voting rights.
Okay?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
So we got full board. And, we have a short meeting. We had a request in writing to continue the site plan review for 21 Boylston Street LLC, and that continuance has been publicly noticed. So,
Stand up, Kevin.
No, I don't think so.
so I
Nobody-
didn't
nobody
think
reads
to
this sign on the
continue
door.
that.
I'll make a motion that we grant that continuance.
Second. So the motion will be to grant the continuance to November 1st, 7 o'clock.
Correct.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Very good.
Well said, Sal.
Where's the crowd?
They knew you weren't gonna be here.
You'll be here November 1st, all right?
November 1st.
Absolutely, thank
All
you.
right, have a good
Nice
night.
meeting you. Nice to meet you. Take care. Good luck. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Oh, very. Very good on there.
So maybe we'll move to approve our minutes of the 4th. Last meeting.
I make a motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
Any changes, all in favor?
Aye.
Do you remember before we go tonight to sign that Hayward subdivision?
Yeah, that's behind you, if you fellas don't mind doing that.
Says, Len said he's approved that. else comes up, but Butch, you're on next. You got a question, or you wanted to talk about?
I wanted to address the board. For anybody on the board that doesn't know me, I'm Butch Whitehouse. I live on 130 Ole Gordon Road. I'm on a butter to the Fralic gravel pit. I don't know if everyone on the board is familiar with the history of that pit, but the closure of a pit's under the jurisdiction of the planning board, and this has been an issue for a number of years now. I didn't do a lot to prepare for tonight's meeting because I just wanted to come in and get an update from the board and see where you're at, but a couple of points that I want to remind the board of. That pit hasn't been used since 2009. It's been abandoned for a number of years. I know the board took a kind of a hands-off position while the Southeast Land Trust was trying to acquire it, which it's been over a year since the Southeast Land Trust has done that. So as an abutter, I think I'm looking for the same things I was looking for when I came in 4 years ago, that the planning board invoke its jurisdiction, that there be a public hearing, and that there actually be a reclamation plan for that pit. That's never happened.
Yeah, you were present on that site, well, when the majority of the board members went out. That one goes back probably almost 2 years ago now. That was just prior to the passing of the parcel from the Fralic heirs to the Southeast Land Trust. So you're right, that's been accomplished, and Kathy's been getting correspondence, and I think has some updated correspondence from SELT here in the last week's time about progress toward that application for some remediation. And I think we all agree on what needs to be done there. It's just a matter of getting that on paper and then seeing that work accomplished. You want to fill us in?
Sure, I talked to Southeast Land Trust as well as the engineering firm, and they're in Manchester, I believe. I can't remember the name, but I have it written down. The engineering firm was preparing the application, wanted to confirm the fee schedule and the number of plans that we needed. And the Southeast Land Trust contacted me and asked me who to make the check out to.
For the application?
For the application. And the comment was, we'll be getting that application shortly. I would passively say, considering my deadlines twice a month, the soonest we could do it would be a November meeting. And based on the conversation, I would say it's in the process of being, they asked if they could mail me the application, I said yes, absolutely. So that's what I'm waiting for.
So I think that's what we're all expecting. We're expecting to see that. There was a long process there where they had to accumulate funding to have that engineering work done.
And you know, one of the comments over the summer, because I've been talking to them maybe once a month, the last communication I had with them, I spoke with them in August at some point, and it was like, it's in the government's hands, and it's RCS and CRS, and how slow they are to do things. So they were at Southeast Land Trust, indicated they were pretty much at the mercy of the government approving the plan, so they could go forward with bringing it to us. And so
We have had communication with them over the last year, and I mean, I think it's been our feeling that they were genuine in their sincerity, their move to see this done. But like I said, we expect that to happen now in the next month, to actually see a plan on paper.
I may disagree with you over their level of sincerity. The Southeast Land Trust has a bunch of projects. They have funding to acquire new parcels. I was at a selectmen's meeting the other night, and they're talking about acquiring another parcel on South Road. So their priorities may be different than what mine are. I think they should live up to their obligations when they purchase that property, do the reclamation that should be done, as opposed to funding these other projects they're going after. And I want to tell you, back in January, they told you they were going to be in shortly with an application. And I'm not sure how much latitude the board's going to continue to give someone or an organization. You know, they have not even gotten a plan approved yet. There hasn't been a public hearing yet. So to say, well, we need to go to find funding, they haven't even been told by this board yet what they have to do to complete a reclamation plan.
they do have their funding. They told me they have their funding, so if I understand the process, they got their funding. Based on the conversations, the plan went to the government, NRCS and CRS for approval, and now it's back to the
I don't know,
engineers.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but there is no plan that's been approved by the board. So I don't know what they're
I never said that it was
submitting.
approved by the board. I don't think I said that, Butch.
Right.
What I said was that the plan that they were doing went to probably the company that's or the government agency that's funding this, that has funding it. They have their funding, and the plan went to whatever agency, government agency, for their approval, so that the engineer they hired can present a plan that meets our application.
Wait. My concern is, they're going out and seeking funding for a plan that hasn't been reviewed by the board yet. And they're gonna come in and tell the board, well, this is what we've gotten funding for and this is what we're going to do.
Well, I think that the funding that they're speaking to is funding to have the engineering work done. I mean,
Yeah.
I see.
Not the actual reclamation.
Well, I mean, they understand, and Phil Ogier, as our representative, agreed on that site plan, or site walk, that there were areas of considered, danger or safety-wise. So, it's been his intent that he's put forward to us, that yes, I'm committed to making those changes, but we wanna see the plan on paper.
Sure.
So we know what they're requiring.
I guess, given the length of time that this has gone on, is the board at all inclined to set any sort of deadline for the land trust to actually move forward, so that there'll be a public hearing, so that the process will actually happen?
If, we better see some application here in the next month's time.
Okay.
That's what they've inferred. Now, we all may be a little bit naive, but I don't think that CELD has one bucket of money. I think that they get grant sources from different agencies for different types of work, so I don't think that they've got this, bank account where that they could come over and put money into this particular.
It's my understanding that the federal agency that granted the money for a majority of the payment to the Fralics is the agency that they've had to work through to get approval for this activity. And that agency, 2 years ago, gave CELT the okay that they would be responsible for a plan. And then it was incumbent upon CELT to get back to them with how much money there was gonna be required to accomplish this task. And I think that it's been a process that CELT is not used to doing, and so they were on a bit of a learning curve themselves.
We know Phil Ogier, having known him for many decades, and he's always been a forthright person, and he did commit that this work is going to be done. But you're right, I mean, it needs to get done, and Kathy calls him, I mean, she keeps in touch with him.
I'm not in here every month poking you guys about this.
No.
It's usually once every year or so. So there's been a lot of latitude given by the board. I just want to correct what Glenn said. The U.S. government did not cut a check to Fralic. They cut a check to the property owners, which were the DeYoungs. And when they found the $542,000 to do that, but they haven't followed through with the rest to get. And I understand, even if they have to come up with the funding to get the plan done, that's one thing. But I'm trying to push the board to meet its statutory obligations under 155E to have that public hearing. And I may be the only guy that shows up for that public hearing, but I think the other abutters haven't been noticed, they're out of the loop. And the same thing, I was at a selectmen's meeting last week. We have someone in town that's in violation of zoning. The selectmen are talking matters of days when somebody's not in compliance. The planning board, we're talking, this pit has not been in compliance for 30 years.
Well, it has been shut down, so that's why we weren't.
It was abandoned. It wasn't shut down by the board, it was abandoned.
Right, so they lost their right to operate.
Correct.
To take off. I mentioned, I said it was the heirs, it wasn't, right, the money didn't go to Fralic, it went to the heirs of the estate.
Correct.
But we want to get it done. I mean, I personally think that it's an attractive nuisance there to have some of those steep slopes. And that's why Steve Cummings, the town engineer, came out and actually formulated an idea of what he wanted to see done. And that plan will have to incorporate those safety.
Was there actually a report prepared by Cummings, or did he just give them some suggestions?
Well, he went out to give them some suggestions, and then like any applicant, they were to go back and make a plan, and then he reviews that plan. So when they come in with that plan, he'll be part of that review, and he'll say, well, this slope, this degree of slope needs to be mediated or whatever.
Right. I want to make the point to the board again. So there's work being made on a plan. The Southeast Land Trust prepared a plan. They're going out getting funding for a plan, but there is yet to be a notice of public hearing so the abutters have a chance to address it,
Right,
and that's part of the requirement.
An engineer plan to date has not been presented to the type.
Not one has?
No,
No.
not by public hearing way, they have not applied for reclamation.
So it'll be a public hearing. As soon as Kathy gets it, then she's gonna notice that. Be a public hearing, and
I'll wait another few months and I'll come back and visit
Oh,
you
yeah.
again if I don't get
Well,
an abutters
I
notice.
think we're gonna be as upset as you are if a couple months go by and we don't see something.
Can I ask what the process is if we don't see something?
We have no bond, correct?
No.
Bond will come along through the public hearing process, the
But
application.
if this stalls for whatever reason, what's our next step, Clint?
It's up to the planning board.
It's not a case where we can revoke the plan because there is no
Correct.
plan. So then it would go to the selectmen, I guess, the planning board could request the selectmen take legal action in Superior Court for some kind of, it wouldn't be really be an injunction against the stopping
action,
the
because
action,
there's no
because
action.
there's no action, but
Okay.
I really don't think that Phil Ogier and Selt want to go down that road. I think that they've always tried to say and prove through their actions that they're responsible.
And I agree. I think that they're a fairly large organization. They have a lot of irons in the fire. It's like anything, squeaky wheel gets the grease. I think they'd be happy to get to this when they get to it, and I think they've been given sufficient time to get to it, so that's why I'm back here before the board tonight.
Personally, I agree.
Thank you for your time tonight.
I would check back, talk to Kathy within 30 days, and we should, or you should see a posting.
I would hope to get a notice in the mail.
Well, you will, somebody. It might take another 6 months to get the money to send the registered letters out. No, I think finally, Bush, finally it's come to the point where they're ready to go. Alrighty, so,
That's really all that I have for tonight. We have a public hearing. I didn't send you a note because I just conversed back with Dana Truslow. She's also gonna come in November 1st to give us a report on her final surface water sampling that she did, so for their year-end report for her in November. So we have the continued hearing that's coming back, and then Dana will also be on November 1st.
very good.
That's really all that I have right
Yeah,
now.
I guess in between now and January, we will have another public hearing on our zoning changes.
Yes, we've got a couple, I would say, we'll hold a public hearing for zoning amendments.
So, really quiet, but
For the moment.
All right, I make a motion. We adjourn.
Second.
all in favor? Please sign it from my letter.
No, they don't do that.
What did he say? What did he say?